I'd like to welcome everybody to the PCDF site here this morning, and my name's Elmer Caskew, and I'm a consultant with Ducks Unlimited, and we have Alex Griffiths here as well, and he's an agronomist with Ducks Unlimited as well. So we're at the MCVET plots here, and we're going to just run through the varieties that winter wheat varieties that we have here, and just give some of the highlights of each of the varieties and what's up and coming. So the first one we have here is CDC Gold Rush. So it's a relatively new variety in the province. There's a few acres being grown. It is got improved winter hardiness over some of our more traditional varieties, the Gateway and Emerson. It's got good protein and a pretty good disease package, just rated moderately resistant to Fusarium. So it's a pretty good overall improvement on probably the Emerson variety.
It was actually a replacement for Bateo as well.
Okay. Yeah. Next up, I guess, we have W522. So this is a variety from the University of Manitoba. It's Dr. Anita Bruley-Babel's variety. Still relatively new in the trials. It doesn't have a name yet, a variety name that at least I'm aware of. It's got a pretty good disease package. It is one of its characteristics is its prostrate growth habit in the fall when it first emerges, and that's typically a sign of good winter hardiness. We've been through a lot of the diversification centers in the province to date, and it's looked like a very good, promising variety. It's got nice size heads to it, and it has an overall good disease package. Yield potential looks to be, probably 10% higher than what we're seeing with Emerson. So looks like a pretty promising variety, and looking forward to the results when the harvest is completed. Next up is Emerson, and so this is sort of the variety that is grown most widely probably in the province. It is best known, I guess, for its resistance to Fusarium, and of course in Manitoba that's a big deal. Fusarium is certainly one of the diseases that we're concerned about in the province. Compared to some of the newer varieties that we have that are up and coming, its winter hardiness can be somewhat suspect, especially when either seeding date is compromised, where we're starting to seed into the latter half of September, or when we have poor stubble, like if we're trying to get away with maybe seeding into pea stubble, or just maybe a canola crop that wasn't all that great and we don't have great stubble. Its winter hardiness can be somewhat compromised, and we can see issues with winter kill with the variety.
Even though it has the resistance to Fusarium, I find that often comes with a bit of a yield drag compared to what some of the newer varieties can achieve. And I would like to personally see a bit more of some of the newer varieties like Wildfire, or Gold Rush, or even Elevate grown in the province.
Next up is Network. So Network is a shorter strawed variety. It's a Gateway replacement. Gateway, for a lot of growers, they'll be familiar with that variety in that it's also a shorter strawed variety. The advantages to Network is that it's certainly got an improved disease package over Gateway. Its Fusarium resistance is still intermediate. But its leaf rust and stem rust is certainly improved. One of the reasons that Gateway and Network are popular varieties is that, and why I'm somewhat excited about these two varieties, is that we're trying to push the yields of these winter wheat varieties, upwards towards that 100 bushel per acre mark, and with that we need straw strength. And both Gateway and Network now, as a replacement, have that straw strength. So we can really, put the groceries to those two varieties, and hopefully we can push those yields up without having to worry about lodging. So that's probably, the main advantage to those two varieties.
I would like to say as well that the probably the biggest improvement that Network makes on Gateway is the winter hardiness of Gateway is rated as fair, whereas Network is rated as good. So it'll be about as good as Emerson would be, and that's a large improvement, as Gateway is probably 2/3 of the, or 1/3 of the time it will end up winter killing in a tough year.
Yeah, those same comments I made on Emerson earlier, I would apply those to Gateway as well. When seeding date is compromised, or when straw, the amount of standing stubble is not ideal, that's when you're going to see issues with winter kill with those two varieties. So Icefield is a white winter wheat variety, and it's being bred specifically for Asian noodles and flatbreads. Um, It has a disease package that's okay, but probably not as well suited for Manitoba as Alberta or southern Alberta, where it's a little bit drier climate. Fusarium resistance, Alex, do you recall?
I don't think so.
I believe it's intermediate at best, I think. So it's got pretty good yield potential, not as high as some of the varieties that we've talked about earlier. The Gold Rush, a variety that's not in the trials here is Wildfire, and I'll make a few comments on Wildfire once we go through the rest of the treatments here. But yeah, it's a variety pretty much best suited for southern Alberta. Limited market potential, really.
Very large heads, though. I find that producers get very excited about seeing these heads that have an extra 4 rows compared to your average variety.
Great. The final treatment here in the MCVET trials is Vortex. And this is a variety that I guess we're most excited about in Manitoba. It is a Emerson replacement. It has probably the best overall leaf disease package of all the winter wheat varieties. It is rated moderately resistant to Fusarium, so not quite as good as Emerson, which is resistant, but in all other aspects, winter hardiness, yield, disease package, Vortex is far superior, and it looks like it would be the variety for much of Manitoba. Again, if you're really concerned about Fusarium, Emerson maybe is still the variety for you, but as Alex mentioned earlier, you're going to be giving up a bit of yield, and the rest of the winter hardiness, the leaf disease package is really one of the best. So it's a variety that we're really quite excited about.
Especially as you go further north in the province as well. Once you get up into these parkland regions where you can have a tougher winter as well, if you don't get the snow cover, this is going to perform excellent, and it'll be top of its class for winter hardiness, which is always front of mind.
The last variety that wasn't in the MCVET trials that we're also fairly excited about is Wildfire. Wildfire is fairly distinguishable by its red color, so as it's heading, you'll be able to pick those fields out from the highway. Like, it has a distinct red color to it. It is the highest yielding winter wheat variety, and it's probably got the most acres in Alberta at the moment. It is also moderately resistant to Fusarium, so it's good in that respect. The one issue it does have is that it is susceptible to stem rust. We feel we can overcome that to a large extent by the fact that a lot of producers will be using a fungicide anyways, and we haven't seen any issues with Wildfire to date, any issues with stem rust in Wildfire to date. It is something to be obviously aware of, but the fact that it is significantly higher than all the rest of the varieties here in the MCVET trial is appealing to a lot of growers, and it's appealing to us in that our goal is to try to get winter wheat up into that 100 bushel per acre mark, and we feel varieties like Vortex, but also varieties like Wildfire, have the potential to do that.
It's pretty exciting. Like in Alberta, that's about 55 or 60% of what the province grows is Wildfire, and under irrigation we've seen them reach yields as high as 135 bushels to the acre. So if we can achieve even 70% of that on dryland conditions, guys would be making a lot of good money at it.